we will discuss today the difference between the AI builders and custom software development and pre-built solution. What are the pre-built solutions? No problem, Anand. Yeah, the microphone cannot be unmuted because I muted all the microphones, so no problem. Importantly that you hear me. So yeah, we will have a Q&A session in the end, but we'll try to go through the webinar. I will try as much as possible not to make it boring for you guys. I don't want to run it for 1 hour and a half. It's almost a football game, so I will try to make it a little bit shorter while answering all your questions. And yeah, I'll try to make it fun. So yeah, starting with what we will learn today, we will learn about the AI builders, about ways to build MVP, what is pre-built solution, and why it's a good suggestion, and your 12-week of scope document or of your project. So let me start with why AI builders are not the best solution. I'm not saying that they are bad. We're not saying that they are bad. The main idea is that AI builders are very specific for specific cases, for specific situations. They might work perfectly well for small projects that handle very easy, simple work, but they are not really for big businesses or for scaling. And during working time and down the road, you might find some bugs or scaling issues, and of course, security issues. We'll discuss all of that. 3 ways to build an MVP. We all know that custom software development, AI builders, and today we will learn about the pre-built solution because many people actually find it difficult to understand what is pre-built solution. So I'll try to explain that as much as possible today. And the roadmap, something that we also call scope document or SDD. And it's one of our approach how we learn more about your project while, let's say, on trial period. You see how we work and you understand more what you need, what is important for your project, and we understand how to help you. It's a blueprint for your project. So we start with AI builders that or vibe coding and why they look very easy, very fast, but then what is the problem or what actually happens later? If any of you tried, I think you already have an idea what is vibe coding, what is AI builders. It's something that helps you very quick to, let's say, start a proof of concept to see something to actually feel that you have the product that you might need. But that's just the beginning. Then when we dig a little bit deeper, some issues appear. So the first issue is the most important one. It's a scaling issue, scalability limits. I will tell you a real quick, real example that we faced with our clients, and it's a startup that had a tracking meeting platform for government organization. They built it on Bubble, and that was like a few months ago, or like let's say a year ago. And when they wanted to scale, when their business started to become a little bit bigger and more sophisticated, they couldn't handle everything that is in there, and they faced a lot of scalability issues. They were stuck somewhere, and just as simple as that, they reached the limit of capabilities that their product can do. At this point, it was a bottleneck, and you hit a wall. You cannot move forward with what you have because it is not designed for scaling. At the same time, if you want to maintain it and not to put your project on pause or anything, so you will spend some money scaling that. So as you see on the screen, I will try not to make it boring and just read, but also for you to know it's low code, no code, Bubble, all of these things are very, very good for specific examples, as I mentioned earlier, but it's not for every case. So you need first to keep that in mind if you are willing to, or if you want to scale down the road, you'll need to go with something a little bit more advanced than AI builders. They are fast, but they are not very secure, not very scalable. Security risks, another issue also. So your data isn't safe by default, as you read right here. It has very minimal standard safety, but with more data and with more um, overload on that, it will be a little bit complicated to keep your data safe. An example, it's a real one, you can actually read about this one. It's T. It's an application that lets users anonymously review dates. And that was this year, sorry, so it's in summer, they had a leak for 72K images. It's for dating, so you can imagine the sensitivity of the information that was leaked. Another big issue and security risk for the low code, no code, and AI builders. I think we all tried, for example, to generate a simple PDF with ChatGPT, and we saw some issues even in a simple PDF. Maybe right now, ChatGPT 5 Pro does better job than before, but you understand. Um, Next one, yeah, vendor lock-in. As we discussed also earlier, or as I said earlier, that you stuck with whatever you have from the beginning. So there is no much room to change or to scale or to go switch from something to another or to migrate. We also see here in the screen an example. Is there any plan in the roadmap where we can export code, or this is totally not possible? And there is an answer. It's from official form there from Bubble, and they said not possible, probably never will be. So yeah, here you got your answer that it is very difficult. It's whatever you started with, you'll need to continue with. We go to the next one. Limited customization. It goes actually almost in the same way as scaling. As a big problem, we just break it down into small pieces. Um, So these tools are built for generic use cases, as I mentioned earlier. For some situations, specific areas, it can work well. But if your business is expanding, if your system is becoming more advanced, if you're adding features or you're trying to do something that is very customized, you'll face an issue. It will be a bottleneck for you. A real example right here, real thread from Glide's community. Let me read it with you real quick. I know that it's boring to read, but it's very important piece of information. I've been working on implementing a booking system for an auto repair shop, and I ran into some challenges. I just explained that a little, like a couple of minutes ago, with the following functionality. We will just skip the functionality, but we will go to the next part. In my implementation, the table for bookings was separate from the table containing this slot data, used for selecting time slots depending on the branch and filtering by date and time. So he just wanted the filter to be a little bit more advanced. And here where he had the main issue, he ran into this issue, inability to properly pass data between the tables. So just a simple feature that you can do with a custom software development, he couldn't do it with Glide's AI builder. Excuse me. And the fifth and the last one we have for today, it's hidden costs. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, that if you want to overcome this obstacle, if you want to deal or work around those challenges, you can still maintaining, but you will pay a lot of money. In the beginning, it was cheap because it was generated with AI. It was very easy, very fast. But then to somehow customize it, scale it, and make sure that it's safe and secure, you will you will end up even maybe sometime piece of waste for your code. You start from the top. Maybe you'll need tools and working around those issues. I'm sure that all of us face that. Maybe not all of us here, but I mean people who are building products. And maybe some of us are very happy with what we have right now. I hope that you continue being happy with what you have. If you have a small project, if you don't have plans for expanding or for scaling, because then it will be the real pain when you want to get out of this bubble, but you can't really get out of it. Um, Please, if you have any questions regarding this one, leave it in the chat and I will try to answer them in the end. I also have on the call with me the CEO of the company, the founder of the pre-built solution. Anton. And we have a couple of engineers who are actually working with the pre-built solution, and they implemented it in a few of our projects. So they will answer any technical questions. I'm not a technical guy, but I will try as much as possible to explain things. Uh, so how do we build at the speed of AI and still make our product scalable, secure, tailored for our vision and for down the road scalability and customization? Um, so I like a very good analogy and that I usually use. It's building a house. So that's the way that I actually explain to our clients, and we have one of them featured in this webinar, Choo. It's a UK ticketing issuing system. People from the UK can actually download this application. So I don't know how many people from the UK here, but at least I saw two in the chat. So you can download the application Choo, but we'll get to this a little bit later. So we have three situations or three solutions. We have AI builders. We already discussed them. We have custom development. Everybody knows custom development. You have a team. You build everything from scratch, and everything is customizable to the maximum. There is no limit for that. And we have pre-built solution, which is also taking a piece of this and a piece of that, a piece of the fast and quick development, but it has the other piece or the other advantage of custom development because it is custom development, but not exactly from scratch. I will explain why. So the analogy that I usually use is building a house. So let's say that you have a piece of land and you have the foundation for your home. So all what you need is the actual home. Think of it this way. AI builders are the mobile homes or trailer, for example. Some people can live for it for some period of time, but I don't think somebody can actually live in a mobile home for the rest of his life, unless he doesn't have any other option. Yes. And the second one, it's cheap actually, very quick, very fast. You can just buy this mobile home from anywhere. For example, a camping van. So the second option is custom development. And think of this as laying the foundation, building the walls brick by brick, building the house, which will take a long time, to also take a lot of resources and a lot of money. And then you start finishing the house with all the bells and whistles, the windows, the glass, the furniture, the lamps, the lights, the paints, and so on and so forth. And now we think about pre-built solution. Now with the modern life and technology, you also have modern ways for construction. You have ready-made walls. So think of the pre-built solution as those walls. And instead of building the house with bricks, you have those walls. In a couple of days, maybe even one day, you can have the house just as a house. There are no furniture, there is no lights, there is no painting or any kind of accessories, bells and whistles, but you have a roof over your head and you can build a little bit faster because you already have the home and you take your time adding all those small things like painting and glass and windows and doors. I think this one makes it very simple, very easy. Uh, so that's the analogy that I usually use, and it's very easy to understand. If you have questions also, we'll answer them later. So let's move here. The comparison, which I just did right now, but let's read it from here. AI builders, from 1 to 2 weeks, you have a prototype. But to rebuild the prototype, and we said when you hit the wall and there is no like way back, you start from scratch with the new development or with rebuild or with the workaround. The cost can be 20, 100 per month subscription, initial setup, template, and full rebuild can scale like 50, 80, even sometimes more than that. And team, it can be one person to start. Yes, somebody can just work with AI builder and he can do everything himself if he has some knowledge. And the risks we already discussed. Bugs, not very customizable, and weak security, not really scalable. Custom development, everybody knows, it takes months actually to build. 20 weeks, it's a very optimistic number. Average cost 50 to 8 to 100, sometimes can be more. Of course, this is upfront we're talking about, and you need a big team sometimes. Even if it's a middle team, you're still paying a lot of money for this team. It's expensive, of course. It is slow to build because it takes a lot of time. Think of the bricks, brick by brick, and heavy resources. Let me talk for a moment here about the advantages, because here we only see the risk. Advantages of a custom software development, that, as I mentioned earlier, it is unlimited scalability. Whatever you imagine you can do right now with what we have in the technology world, you can do whatever you want. So you have no limit to your dreams, to your business, to scalability, but you are paying for that. So just to be clear. Um, the pre-built solution, it's a mix, as I said, between custom and quick development. Quick, as I explained, because we already have those components, those ready walls, and I will explain what are those ready walls in the next slide. And you can actually do it with 2, 3, 4 developers. It depends, again, on the size of your project or your product. But it helps you at least to launch faster. And that was, in my analogy, it was having a roof over your head in a couple of days. You don't need to wait for the cement to dry out and for the next wall to be built next day and for the foundation to put, sorry, for the builders to put a roof and so on and so forth. Balance of speed, security, and also very scalable. You can do with it, again, whatever you want to do. It will never have any limitation because it is, in first place, it is actual code. It is custom development. So yeah, that's the one that I was talking about. Again, a very quick note for the people from the UK. You can actually download this application in the UK right now on Google Play and App Store. Choo Choo, it's a ticketing issuing system. So you can travel from anywhere in the UK, like inside the UK. And this is something that we built in 12 weeks, guys. This is a very, very close project to my heart because it was my first project at this company here. And because we took it from scratch, the client came to us with a logo drawn on a napkin with a pen. I think we have on those slides this. If we don't have it, you can also find it on our website. So yeah, real results matter more. Here is how the UK startup launched fast. They came to us with this idea and they told me that we have this pain point, which is the UI UX. We have a lot of applications in the UK, but they are very outdated. It's not easy to find delay compensation. It's not easy to download my ticket on my mobile phone unless I have an internet, for example. So they don't work offline. And we worked with them on something called scope document. Will be also discussed a little bit later. It took around 40 hours of work. Discovery sessions, just calls, and we asked them questions. Our tech leads asked them what you want to achieve, what is your pain points, and we tried to address those points. During those 40 hours, we were able to create an actual logo, which you see right here, not the one that they drawn with a with a pen, and wireframes, um, and tech stack, team composition, infrastructure. It was a document around 42 pages, if my memory doesn't fail me. In 40 hours of work. This is something that we provide also at a fixed price, 777, so $777, which, as I mentioned earlier, it is a blueprint for your product. With this document, you can just give it to any provider, any vendor, and tell them like, guys, I need to build this. And they can provide you with all the timelines, costs, so on and so forth. They don't need even to ask you any questions. So the challenges we see here, small team, limited budget, needed investor-ready prototype. So they wanted also to go to the market very quickly. So because there are already those products in the market and huge ones. As far as I remember, there was a Rail UK, Split My Fare, other ones. I don't live in the UK, so I don't really know much. But we also studied competition and we learned how to take an advantage. And yeah, MVP had to be scalable for future because actually we discussed with the clients that maybe in the future they want not only train tickets, but they want bus tickets. Maybe in the future they will scale to plane tickets, maybe even some accommodations. So it will be something like, for example, Booking or Omio or those huge projects. So it is an MVP that it's built from the beginning with the goal of scaling. Um, that's I already explained, but with some more detail. This is the wireframes that we prepared during the first 40 hours. Also, to be very honest and transparent here, it is not the case for any project. For them, it was a main pain point that they wanted something that is very easy to use, UI, UX. That's why we focused during the scope document or the SDD, software design document, or EDD, engineering design document. We focused on this particular point because the client wanted something to be very easy to use. So the scope document doesn't mean that we will work on the design or we'll work on the prototype, but if it is a pain point for you, we'll work on it. Let's say the pain point is something else. It is something on the back end or some calculation or recommendation. So that will be the focus. Excuse me. So the back end skeleton was ready in 4 hours with the pre-built solution. And those are true information, true numbers, and I will explain later why, because those are blocks of code accumulated over the years with best practices that we can just reuse to launch product faster. It doesn't mean that it is full development right now, but in the first period of time, it will be ready for you to start adding the bells and whistles. As I said earlier, you have the ready-made walls, and then you start painting, you start adding the doors, the windows, and so on. Mobile app foundation was in 12 hours. Things like authentication, payment notification, localization, UI components. There was also payment. Stripe was implemented. So the full stack foundation delivered in 3 working days for an MVP. This is actually a record number, and you can check that with ChatGPT, for example. So the results from weeks 1 to 3 work in investor-ready prototype with booking flow, authentication, and payment. In 3 days, you already have something touchable, something very tangible result. If you want to show it to investor, if you want to show it to partners, if you want to show it to stakeholders, you can do that. Uh, After 3 weeks, we started communicating with RailEasy, and RailEasy, it's from the UK, it's the let's say the accreditation for actually selling the tickets for money. So they said, okay, that looks fine. Now let's complete it. They had a criteria with a checklist to complete, which we did over the rest of the time. It was 8 weeks left, 9 weeks left. And yeah, so from setup to development, again, so that's the rest of the trip, the rest of the story and the journey. We build the core features. This is for an MVP, which is also something that it's predefined when we were discussing the scope document. We had a list of must have, should have, and nice to have. That's also the scalability and the timeline of the product and the development. Right now, they needed an MVP to go to the market, but they had in mind that later after the MVP, post-launch MVP, we want to go to MLP, most lovable product. After that, we want to go to enterprise. After that, we want to go there and there. So build core features for easy train booking, searching for journeys, view results, pick tickets, checkout with Google Pay and Apple Pay, so payment also is integrated. Smart booking options, like split tickets, for example. People from the UK would understand what is split ticket. I will not bother you with the information or details now. Real-time alerts and notification, the app design, which was a main point actually. And yeah, easy sign up and account management. You can buy a ticket as a guest, you can sign up and create an account, you can delete your account, all of this with like very simple steps and clicks. 90% of team time spent on product value, not boilerplate. So that's actually true. So after the 3 weeks, once we had the skeleton of the application, we started implementing core features. We started implementing value to the to the product. We'll move to the next one. So the results are clear. We already explained, but let me say once again. So the main important point is to go to the market in 12 weeks, which we agreed on or we estimated after the scope document. Again, I highlight the importance of documentation. Many clients and many people who are interested in building MVP or starting their own startup. They do not think much about the documentation. They have a great idea, but they don't know from where to start. We will discuss this a little bit later on the next slide. It is very, very important to have your idea documented. And by documented, I mean you have clear plans, not just list of features. You need also to know how each feature will be done, or what to do with with this feature, how to react, what is that button does, and so on and so forth. So we delivered the MVP in 12 weeks, which we agreed on. You can also watch a testimonial video about this one on our LinkedIn, coming from the founder and co-founder of ChuChu. It was built with one backend, believe it or not, it was one backend developer and one mobile developer. Of course, there was a designer, of course, there was a QA, but the designer was on demand, meaning that after he finished the wireframes, he turned them into prototype and design, and then it became final design. Then he didn't work on anything, but once the client wanted to add something, it's also change of scope, but the client was understanding that, okay, now I will add something else, so it might take a little bit more of time. And he was only on demand. It means that he wasn't like exactly in the team. He's not working full time. He's working part time or on demand. And we didn't have any DevOps. The QA also was on demand. After we finished the development of the first 4 or 5 weeks, he had something to actually test and check the quality assurance. And then over the time, once they finish a feature or they finish a release, he starts working. So the actual team was 2 people, developer on the back end and mobile developer. So no DevOps as it's written here. And the MVP helped secure fast GTM go to market. It is, as we explained, you have everything ready in less than 3 months or 3 months. So you can go to the market, you can gather actual feedback from actual users, and you can start working on post-launch or most lovable product. They secured accreditation with the UK Railways because now they actually sell ticket with them and with the Real Easy, of course. And the last one, architecture ready for growth. As I explained, now it is an application that is ready to scale to whatever you want. Only from train tickets, we can go to bus tickets, planes, accommodation, and so on and so forth. I encourage you guys to check this case studies on our website in detail. If you have any questions, you can also send me an email or get in touch on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to set up a call and discuss more. Oh, so yeah, the conclusion of this story that you can build as fast as the AI, but you can build with security, scalability, and full customization. I will get back to the point of building a house. Uh, the mobile house, you still can live in it. It's still fine, easy solution, maybe cheap solution, but it will not go with you for a long time. Having some customizable house that you can put on the foundation with the walls and everything very quick, but later down the road you can add whatever you want. You can add a second floor, a third floor, have a garden in front of the house, swimming pool, and so on and so forth. You can run with a lean team, 2, 3 developers instead of a big crew. This one is 100% true. However, if your project may be smaller, you can run only with one developer. Maybe if your product is only a mobile application and you don't need much work on it, so it will be a back-end developer and a mobile developer. But maybe your project will be a little bit bigger than that, so maybe you'll need one more developer. So yeah, the main point is that you can maintain it and work with it with a small team. To save time, we explained why, and to save budget because skipping setup and skipping all of those things that you build from scratch, it saves you time, respectively, it saves you money. Focus on growth while infrastructure is ready. Yeah, we already discussed this, that once the main skeleton is there, you can add to it, you can focus on the value, the core features, and maybe even later the bells and whistles. Be investor ready from the start. As I explained, you already have like in week 3, week 4, you have a prototype that you can show people. You can show founders, you can show investors, you can show partners. And yeah, to break down pre-built solution, I already discussed it. Just look at this picture, it explains a lot. Those are blocks of components that are ready made. You can use them, put them next to each other, and you have your product or your house in my analogy. You can see here AWS, Azure, GCP, mobile server, serverless, web, ready-made UI components. So yeah, it's as easy as that. Those are ready models, and I will get into that in the next slide. So what are those ready components for product development? Pre-configured cloud setups, UI components, key integrations, like for example, authentication, payment notification. This is the skeleton of almost any project. You will need them for almost any product. And if you have them ready, it saves you a lot of time. It goes also with money. If you save time, you'll save money. Um, Emphasizing here what you get in 2-3 weeks, you get a working prototype. In 12 weeks, you get an MVP. 12 weeks here, it is the specific case of a choo-choo. There are some other MVPs that have minimal core features that might be done in 8 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. It depends. So in that case, 12 weeks, it is just the case for choo-choo. Maybe also it can be more than 12 weeks. You require more features or more advanced uh, MVP. Up to 50% faster launch, we already explained, because you skip all those boring setups from the beginning, so you save some time on that. Most importantly, that burning weeks on setup, you can move fast. And I would say here, I would add the scalability issue, that yes, you skipped some time, but you didn't skip quality, you didn't skip security, you didn't skip any um, customization or scalability. Whatever you want to do down the road, you have the ability to do it. Uh, so let me just move this one here. More than 20 models, and those models will be in definition after this slide. Authentication, login, payments, notification, alerts, localization, healthy checks, and more and more and more packages. As you see here, mobile features, backend logic, web and front end tools, Node.js packages, plugins, app generators, backend, front end, mobile, CMS for content management, custom CLI, routing, styling, apps, authentication. All of these things are in the pre-built solution. And let me highlight while we are on this slide that this is an open source, guys. If you want to check this, you can actually check it on GitHub. Those things that we present right here, they're there, so you can check them yourself. So what are models? For me, it's a little bit also like difficult because I'm not a technical guy, but yeah, the models are ready-made building blocks for core features. Features like, for example, login or payment or notification. When they are used at the start of the MVP, you skip writing all these basics from scratch. We already discussed it, so I will just skip this one. But let me read the example here. It's an important one. In choo-choo, push notification and localization, because it's important for train tickets. If your train is delayed, or if you have cancellation, or for example, delay compensation. Localization, because also tells you where is your train, from which platform, and so on and so forth, and what is the nearest station. All of this was done in the first week without extra research. So because all of this was already ready, we could do it and achieve it in a week. If you are building everything from scratch, you'll need to have this push notification set up and this localization set up. It will take at least triple time more. Let me go to the next one. Packages are pre-built code pieces. So those are blocks of code for web and for mobile and backend. UI components, Node.js logic, plugins. When we use them during the development. We don't waste time coding and writing everything from scratch, but we have them as a block and we just take it and reuse it. It saves 30 to 40% of the time on the UI. And in our example, the real example, and again, I mentioned that please, if you want to check it out, download the application for people who are in the UK. If you're not in the UK, you can also see a demo video on our website and YouTube channel. So in choo-choo, instead of coding a custom Stripe flow for the payment, it was there as a package or pre-built package, took a few hours. So instead of a couple of weeks, we did it in a couple of hours. Excuse me. Next one. app generators, so ready-to-go templates for back-end, front-end, mobile, and CMS apps. So from the beginning, you got a working app, the skeleton, as I mentioned. This is the main idea of putting walls next to each other to create a room or to build a room. And you put a couple of rooms next to each other, and then you have a house, and so on and so forth. Um, in Chuchu example, the back-end mobile skeleton were ready in 1 day. So you have a back-end skeleton in 1 day. This is actually a crazy number. Um, so you would still be waiting for a few weeks to achieve that if you are doing custom development. And I think the last slide, yeah, CLI. A single command to spin up new apps, web, mobile, backend, pre-configured with routing, styling, authentication, and APIs. So anytime you need to launch a new model or service, you do it fast. You don't have to spend time on rewriting this or sorry, writing this from the top. So hours of manual setup are skipped with just those CLI. And Chuchu, again, example that we are discussing, real one. The mobile app with Firebase authentication and push notification was generated in 6 hours. So it saves you a lot of time. Okay, what does this mean for my MVP timeline? Um, this is the main question now. Everybody's asking, okay, why did I come to this webinar? Is to explain exactly how you can take something from an idea to an actual live MVP. This is the 12 weeks MVP plan, let's say. It's the scope document, and that we started in the first week. We plan, we understand your scope, we understand your um, main features and your main pain points, and then we have the scope document as a map to execute. And then we start designing the prototype, the front end. We start putting all of this together as a skeleton, and then we focus after week 4, after the first month, we focus on adding value to this skeleton. We start adding all of those features and working on pain points, adding some important things for your application, for your product, for your system. uh, yes, okay, from 10, 11. So yeah, after launch, it doesn't stop here. We continue with support. We continue with going to the MLP, which is the most lovable product, as we said. So you will gather real feedback, and then from there you can start getting some ideas, some solutions to have not just an MVP but an actual product. Before we do all of this, sorry, I skipped this point. It's testing everything that it works well with all standards, and it is a bulletproof product, so you don't have any bugs or you don't have any lags, you don't have any issues. Um, and yep, that's it. So for people who are wondering what it means for them, so for somebody who's just an idea, to validate your idea and to document it, the best way to do it, at least in our experience, in our approach, is to go with a scope document. This here it's written 40 hours discovery phase, but actually it can be maybe 10 hours. If you actually have some documents, and that's why I said it's very important. If you have some documents, maybe product requirement document, maybe business requirement document, we can take it from there and we add to it so that it becomes a scope document. It becomes a tech stack, a team composition, maybe wireframes. So instead of spending 40, 60 hours, it can take 10, 20 hours to be sure what you want to achieve. So not just an idea, but you have an actual documentation. With the QR codes on the screen, you can book your scope document workshop. I will actually be the one in contact with that, so you will have your call with me if you ever need it, and we will go through your ideas. We'll try to understand what you have, what you are missing, what you need, and how to achieve it. Um, I want something real to show. Okay, so maybe some people actually have documentation, some people have complete the scope document, and now you're in the prototype phase. You want something to show to partners, you want something to show to investors, and time is very important here because it's the beginning of your product, the beginning of your business. So after 14 days, which we mentioned the first 2 weeks, you already have the skeleton, you already have the prototype that you can uh, interact with. You have the wireframes, you have the scope for your product, so you understand what will happen in the next few weeks. That would be the prototype in 14 days. It starts at 200, 2,500. So I wouldn't say it's fixed because maybe for some people it will take a little bit more time. But here we are putting the number that would make sense if you are working for 2 weeks. So this is the number for 2 weeks of work, 14 days. And free MVP audit. This is something that you will do with our technical leads. They will check what you have. They will check what customization can be done, what solutions can be added, and feedback from those technical guys to explain to you what are the risks of that or what are the advantages of this. And yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, small bonus. So for Founders Guide, please scan the QR code. Also, this call will have kind of a follow-up, so you will receive all this information that we discussed here. If you also need some kind of contact, please drop it in the chat. Free consultation, as we just mentioned. If you have something that you want to validate or to audit it, please reach out and we will try to schedule a call with me and with our tech leads. We have a fractional CTO that can help also other companies with such matters uh, to have a look at your product and what it might need. And yeah, I guess that's it. I didn't take much of your time, I hope. So I tried to be as thorough as possible at the same time, not to be boring. Let me open the chat right here and see if we have any messages, any questions. Um, so I don't see something right now. So please, if anyone has any questions, please drop it in the chat. We, as I mentioned earlier, we also have the CEO of the company, and we have a couple of our tech lead guys here to answer your technical questions. Anyone has any questions? I don't see anything in the chat. Uh, okay. I can wait a couple of minutes more, and if somebody has any questions, I can answer them. I hope it was useful for you guys. If somebody wants to write, maybe you don't have a question, but just let me know that you learned something from this or what that's what you came for. Okay, I believe no questions, and that's it. Again, if you wanna, no question, but quite an insightful. Thank you very much. Thank you. So please, anyone has any questions, maybe after the call, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or you can schedule a call and we can have a call. So thank you very much for coming. I hope it was useful, and yeah, have a great one. Thank you.